Welcome to another allotment diary. Today I'm at my new plot, and this mess is my greenhouse. These are the tomato plants. They've gone absolutely crazy. We've had quite a lot of hot weather in the last couple of weeks, which makes a change because we haven't had any for the rest of the year. But what's happened is the tomato plants, of course, are absolutely loving it. They've gone crazy. They are putting out side shoots like there is no tomorrow, and they are actually starting to produce tomatoes. You can see, let's go down the back there, you can see some there. The tromboncini squash, there's one of its flowers. It's gone somewhere behind there as well. Who knows where. If I just take you over here, there you are, you can see one of them growing there in the funny shape. There's a couple more knocking around as well. So very pleased with that. More tomatoes there. Down the back there's the cucumber melon, which again, it seems to be taking over everything. It's gone absolutely massive. So I'm not quite sure what to do with that. There's no ripe cucumber melons on it yet, but it's certainly giving it a good run for its money. Here we've got some peppers. There's some chili plants as well behind here. They're doing very, very well too. So again, very, very pleased with the results from those. Again, they're very late in the season, to be fair, and I can understand why they're so late in the season. We've had terrible weather, and since it's heated up, they've really, really done well. I've also moved some of my cacti down here. You can see them there, and they're also doing wonderfully. So very, very pleased with all of those. The tomatoes, let's just go over here. You can see there one of the side shoots. There's another one here. You've got to keep pinching that. These are what they call indeterminate tomatoes, which basically mean they grow like crazy. And you've got to pinch the side shoots out of them, otherwise they will just literally take over your greenhouse. These were quite small when I brought them in here. I've tried my best to keep them under control, but I come back after a couple of days and they've shot up sort of a foot. So there's loads of tomatoes coming up on them. If we go carefully round the corner here, pinching off side shoots as we go, we can see a ripe tomato. There you are, that's one of my plum tomatoes, so quite pleased with that. Reasonably squishy, quite nice, so looking forward to having that one. Now this here, I don't know whether you can see that properly, this is also producing tomatoes. This is what they call a bush tomato, or determinate variety. These are much, much better for growing in the greenhouse. You'll read all about them in my growing tomato book on Amazon, but next year I'm planning on only planting bush variety tomatoes. The reason being, they produce a good crop, but they also don't take up so much space, so they're much more contained. So you can see this has got lots and lots of flowers on it. It's a cherry tomato variety, and it's all in a nice little pot. And over here there's some peppers in another pot there. So it's looking good in here. There's certainly a lot happening, but it's very, very warm in here, so you have to excuse me, we're not going to stay in here too long, because otherwise I'm going to lose an awful lot of weight. So I've just pinched off a few more of the side shoots, and then I'm going to head out and we'll look at the rest of the plot. But like I said, the side shoots are going absolutely crazy in here. The tomatoes are loving the warm weather. I'm also pinching out all the tops. You can see here, sorry I moved a bit quick there. I mean, you can see here that you've got flowers there, and then the top bit there. So I'm just pinching the tops off to stop them trying to grow any taller. The tomato plants, of course, are having none of it, and are still growing taller, but they're doing fantastically. There is a grapevine in the back somewhere. You can see some of the grapes there. I've finally worked out where the route for the grape is and how to get to it. So I have been watering it, but I think because it's had quite irregular water throughout the year, unfortunately, because I wasn't sure where it was or how to properly take care of it, the grapes have unfortunately split. But it is looking, it's going to have a good trim out. So I've just walked into my greenhouse window. It is going to have a good haircut this year. It needs taking care of and cutting back, because basically it's just taking over. It's all going through the roof, and it's going to destroy the greenhouse if I'm not careful. So I'm going to take that apart. The cacti, by the way, loving the greenhouse. I'm going to repot those over winter as well. That's San Pedro, and these two are called Mexican torch. I don't know the Latin names, I'm afraid, but that's the names they're commonly known by. So looking forward to repotting those very, very carefully. San Pedro, don't mind repotting that one, not pointy. Mexican torch, deadly. So that's going to be repotted very, very carefully, weighing some sort of hazard seed. Right, I'm getting out of this greenhouse now because I'm starting to melt a little. I'll show you some more of the rest of the plot. I've been quite busy down here. I've dug over that entire area there. It only took me an hour or so to do all that area. I was really, really surprised. I had to clear quite a bit of rubbish off of it, but I've dug it all over and I've covered it with a very, very good quality woven weed membrane. If we just come down here, you can see it here. It's very thick. Nothing's coming through that. There's no weeds coming up through it, unlike the stuff I used on my other plot, which unfortunately the weeds are just coming through. I've been burning rubbish. There's so much wood and other waste on here. I've had no choice but to burn it. I'm not putting it in my car and taking it to the tip. So a lot of it's been burnt. I've burnt all the tops of the potatoes. The potatoes got blight. There's still, all the way under here, there's loads more potatoes to dig up. But I haven't dug them up purely because I've got nowhere to put them. I have bags and bags of potatoes at home. I've given them away to everyone I know. I've still got more potatoes. So this area here is going to get dug up over the next couple of weeks as I use the potatoes at home and start to have space for them. Over here we've got the autumn fruiting autumn fruiting raspberries. They are producing a good crop as well. Very pleased with those. Not entirely sure what to do with them, unfortunately. I've never really grown raspberries, never particularly eaten them apart from the odd pavlova. So not sure what to do at home with them. I'm going to look it up. I've got a few there. They're going right very, very quickly. The pumpkins here haven't done very well, but I wasn't expecting them to. They were late in the ground, to be fair to them. They haven't really set any fruit and they're just starting to grow. The petit pan squash though that I put in here, it has produced a fruit there. You can see there's one there. So I'm going to take that home together with a bit of rhubarb, cook that later. The asparagus there is looking good. That needs to wait till it starts to turn brown and die back. Then it's got to get cut back to ground, just above ground level, and leave that. So I've got a lot of work to do over winter here. Here is my greenhouse jigsaw. I bought myself a greenhouse. It was lovely and cheap, which was great, and the chap I bought it off was a wonderful man. He was really, really helpful and nice. Problem I had with him though, the problem I had with the greenhouse is I had to really take it to pieces to fit it in my car. Unfortunately, I hadn't thought about it too much, but I should have hired a van and just taken it in panels in the van, to be fair. So, but I've got to put down a proper base and I've got to do all that. So I'll do that over winter, and I'll share that with you as and when I do it. It's going to be quite interesting putting this back together, I think. I've also got to sort through all that rubbish over winter, by the way, and there's loads of it. Over here we've got what's going to be a brassica tunnel. I don't know if anything, I don't think anything was growing in this year apart from weeds. So I've uncovered it, I've dug it over, or dug some of it over. I'm going to dig the rest over today in a minute, and then I'm going to cover it with weed membrane just to stop the weeds coming back. I want to move those raspberries, by the way, as well. They're as annoying as anything. Autumn fruiting raspberries send out shoots under the ground, and you can just see, I don't know whether you can just see it on here, there in the pavement. It's one of the raspberries coming up between the paving slabs. It's all in this bed here as well. So I'm gonna move those and put them into pots. I think they're best off in pots over winter, and just keep them in pots to stop them growing everywhere, because it's getting ridiculous. And then the problem with where they are is they're right in the middle of the plot. If they're at one end or the other, you don't have a problem with it. But where they are, they're just right in the way of any sort of plan that I put in place for the plot. So I want to dig them all up over winter, cut them back, put them on into pots and store them there. The new greenhouse, by the way, is going to go there in line with the old greenhouse, and you can see up there the grapevine growing out. So it's going to go next to it there. I'm going to sort of pave all that area, and then have sort of herbs down next to the road, I think, and maybe grow a couple of apple trees or something, espalier wise, along a fence. But I'm going to put those, so those have got to go in pots due to the fact they're so annoying, and they're just so prolific. They're going to get everywhere otherwise, and it's all going to end up getting taken over. Down here we have the rhubarb. Perhaps I shouldn't still be harvesting it, but I am, and it's still nice. I'm just picking a few stalks every now and then for a few crumbles, and I'm absolutely loving it. It's a huge bed of rhubarb. Again, it's a bit of a pain where it is right in the middle of the plot, but that's alright, I'll leave it there. And here we've got some summer fruiting raspberries, and again, to be really honest with you, they could do with moving. They're kind of in the way. I'm going to take the tree down that's there, because that really is in the way. I just don't know what to do with it there. It's right in the middle of the plot. It's sucking up nutrients from all around and casting shade. So I'm going to take that down over the winter months and get rid of it. The butternut squash here actually started producing some butternut squashes, which is rather nice. They're still small, but I'm hoping before the first frost set in, these are going to be able to finish growing for me, because that'd be really nice. Again, I was very late planting these, but I'm surprised how well they've done compared to, considering these were planted 4 or 5 weeks later than the ones at the other allotment. This is massive by comparison. So obviously this one, it likes this plot, and this is one reason why I think I want to stay on this plot and give up the other one. The other one just seems to be a struggle to grow anything on. And all credit to the gentleman that had this one before. Soil's good quality, and there's potatoes everywhere. So I'm going to be digging up potatoes for months. Everywhere I look, there's potato plants. So great. I've got 7 scaffolding boards at the moment. So there are 6 scaffolding boards. These are going to be cut up, and I'm going to start building raised beds along here. So my plan is just to put raised beds in all over this side, and then back over towards the greenhouse I will do the same as well. Now that area there, you can see this, and you can see it's burnt out. There was some wasps nesting in here. There was an awful lot of them. It was a very big wasp's nest. I spoke to one of the local beekeepers on site. He came along and burnt it out, and you can see down there, that's it, just the remains of the wasp's nest. So he's come and, as I said, he dug it all out in his full gear, poured petrol on it and set light to it. Because obviously I'm on a site here where there's a lot of people keep bees. There's one literally just opposite where my plot is, and after talking to the beekeeper, he said that using powder was not the best of ideas because it could affect the bees. So we've got rid of it, burning them out, which was interesting to say the least, but they're gone, and it's all okay. Because obviously one thing you may not know is wasps will actually attack bees. If a beehive is in the slightest bit weak, the wasps will go and take over and push their way in and kill off the bees. So to protect the bees on site, we've got rid of it. It was a fun one to do. More blackberries down the back there. These are the thorn variety though, so that's going to get a damn good haircut in a couple of months' time, purely because I don't want it. You can see it's growing everywhere. To be really honest with you, I may actually take them out, purely because thorn blackberries, they don't produce a particularly big crop, and they're covered in thorns, so they're horrible to pick. Now I was thinking of moving the shed. This is the shed here, this metal contraption that frankly looks like it's held up with a wing and a prayer, which to be fair it is. Down the side here there's just loads of rubbish and weeds and everything else. Originally I was thinking of moving the shed backwards, but then someone pointed out to me that the problem with that would be the potential for people to climb over and obviously get onto the site, because I'm right next to the fence. So what I've decided I'm going to do, and thank you to everyone who made suggestions for me on this, is what I'm planning on doing is there's an elder tree here which is growing right over the top. I'm going to trim that right back over the winter months. I'm just going to wait for it to go dormant. I'll pop up there and cut a load of the branches off and really sort of get it under control, so it's not growing over my plot. I want it growing over the fence. You can see up there, that's the fence. So I want it growing that way over there, over the fence, not this way, and that's going to help obviously not cast so much shade on the plot. I do want to rebuild the shed. I am going to, I don't even know how I'm going to take it down, to be fair. From what I understand, this shed was built by Noah and is still here. So I'm going to probably get rid of the shed next year, put a wooden one in place, and just really tidy it up. But down the back here, once I've cleared out all this rubbish and worked out exactly what's here and what isn't, again, weed membrane is going to go down, so all of this is going to be covered in weed membrane. And then I think my plan is that I've got a spare corrugated sheet there, put the sheet up here over so that it becomes like a roof, put some shelving in here, and things like all these pots. I've got loads and loads of pots everywhere. Store all these pots in here out the way so they're neat and tidy, and I think that's really going to help tidy everything up and make things look good. But that's the view from the allotment today. I'm going to get on with my digging now and water everything in the greenhouse. Let me know how you're doing and how your plot is, and I'll look forward to talking to you very soon.